Welcome to episode 5 of the Irish Fitness Podcast. This episode is brought to you by EST Evolve Online Programming, Micky Smith's online program, available now. I know he does one-to-one coaching and also group coaching online. A lot of the top athletes up the north are using it, so definitely check that out. It's also brought to us by the Irish Fitness Championships, Ireland's premier national competition for individuals. We did it big in 2019 and have bigger plans again for 2020. So keep the first weekend in July free, guys, if you're looking to compete. So, Shane, 20.4.
Yeah, it was an interesting week.
What's going on? It was a very interesting week. Very interesting few days.
Yeah, it's always interesting in the Irish CrossFit community, but this week in particular, it was more interesting, I suppose, on the men's side. But we'll get to that eventually.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll start off basically looking at the women's side of 20.4 as an overall leaderboard. So
let's start at the bottom and work our way up.
So just at point 4. The only person to finish this, you guessed it, Emma McQuaid.
Surprise, surprise.
So from the ground up, basically, we have in the finishes, they're all kind of 235 up to where Catherine Fearon is in 4th place in that workout. And then it goes into Claire McGlynn and Hannah Moore, 237, 239. And then Emma McQuaid actually did 1250, which is an insane
brilliant
finish.
Unreal.
Seen as like not many people did that even in the world. So
yeah.
On the women's overall, which is here, and the leaderboard looks mostly the same as last week. We're looking at from basically we have a draw in 9th place. So from 11th up to 1st, Katie Healy, Maria Jenkins, Michelle Nagel, Rebecca Thompson, Hannah Moore, Kerry Hewitt, Catherine Fearon, Claire McGlynn, Aoife Burke, Amanda Cummins and Emma McQuaid.
Excellent. Let's go back to the 20.4 list there for a sec. We'll take a look at how the girls got on. So 10th up till 5th was 235 reps, so everyone got stuck on that last bar, didn't they?
The exact same, trying to get that overhead.
Quite difficult again. The separator in 20.4 was the bar for most people.
We're looking at 1 RMs there for a lot of women in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming up to that bar, they probably have never jerked overhead. If they have, they've done it once or twice before and never under that much.
Not under that kind of fatigue.
Yeah, after that many pistols and stuff like that.
It's a long workout. You know, they probably got to the bar with maybe 4 or 5 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
And even with that, under that fatigue, it may be a 1 RM for some of them are close to it. But again, with that kind of weight for that is almost impossible under fatigue. Claire McGlynn, she's an excellent lifter. Again, putting them videos up, shout out to Claire.
Yeah.
I know she represented Ireland as a lifter. I believe I think it was Europeans. So she was very versed with the lifting. So she got herself 1 rep on there. Hannah Moore then. I'm not familiar with her. I think she may be in another country. Let's give her a little shout out there. Pull that up there and see. If you click on her score, where is she from? Give me a look at the
CrossFit Canuck, so that's in Ireland.
Oh, okay. For CrossFit Knock. CrossFit Knock.
Sorry.
Shout out to Hannah. She's obviously an excellent lifter. And then Emma McQuaid. Again, Emma demolished it. 12 minutes and 50 seconds. World-class performance. I saw her finishing some of the reps and again, as usual, absolutely dominant performance. Yeah. Right, let's bring it on to the overall leaderboard now and we'll see.
Yeah, so the overall then is named out the top 10 there. Not too much of a jump around when it comes to like the top 5. Still Claire McGlynn's in there 4th, Aoife Burke, Amanda Cummins and Emma McQuaid is always up there.
Yes.
With her unbelievable times worldwide. I think she's 4th in the world.
Yeah.
3rd or 4th in the world overall. So it's obviously going to stand on the Irish leaderboard.
So lots of familiar names there. Yeah. Michelle Nagel and Maria Jenkins tied for 9th place. Who's in 10th place there? Bring it down 1.
Katie Healy.
Okay, sorry. So the girls are actually tied for, I suppose you call it 9th because they are tied for 9th, then 10 disappears.
Yeah.
And Katie Healy is next. Rebecca Thompson, master, shout out to Rebecca.
Yeah.
Again, an excellent competitor. She's starting to climb now. She got a very good score on that, 8th in the world.
Yeah.
She's an excellent lifter. I believe she lifted in Masters, Worlds. So she's proficient with the bar.
That barbell's no problem for her.
Hannah Moore there as well, who we just discussed from CrossFit Knock. Shout out to Hannah. an up-and-comer, some great performances there. She suffered a little bit with the 20th, but an 11th, a 9th, and then a second in the last one, so that was excellent. Kerry Hewitt doing very, very well, nice and consistent. Again, just like Hannah, suffered a little bit with a 19th place in 20.2, but has had quite a consistent performance on the other 3 workouts. Kat Fearon then always, in the mix. She's performing very consistently there in 5th place, regionals athlete. Claire McGlynn, right across the board there, a 4th, a 4th, a 7th, and a 3rd.
Very consistent. Yeah.
Super consistent. And again, putting up them videos, you have to admire people who do that. It's very easy to hide in the shadows in the gym and, get the person to judge you or whatever, but taking an actual video, record it and putting it up is something that I believe, we'll talk about it in a while, but I believe that if you're in contention for, say, kind of a top 10 spot, I think you should have to upload videos.
Yeah.
It's not necessary for everyone, but I think if you're gunning for, which all these girls are, close to the top, then I think it should be an absolute necessity. And we'll talk about that, why that should be pretty soon. Aoife Burke, always very consistent, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 5th. She's up there with 16 points. So again, like we talked about last week, it's kind of a battle for 2nd and 3rd place, isn't it? Between
it's been jumping around between Amanda and Aoife now. Amanda kind of made a really good run at it this year and had a great open. She's really consistent across the board.
Yes.
I think her lowest one was actually just this workout. But even before that, it was just 2 seconds or a 2nd and 2 3rd places. It's unbelievable compared to someone like Emma McQuaid. It was just
she's smashing
an outlier,
Amanda is actually well up there in contention on the Masters leaderboard as well. She very, very well may be our first ever Masters athlete to go to the games. So fingers crossed for Amanda.
Yeah, this last week now will do it for her if she can finish strong.
Muscle ups on Amanda Cummins.
Yeah.
She's practically the best in the country apart from Emma, obviously, and then at the top with 5 points in total. How is that 5 points? Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'd say someone has submitted a score this morning.
Yeah.
So that's why these girls have dropped the points. So Emma's actually on 4 points, Amanda is on 14, and then Aoife is on 15. So all the points there, you can add one because someone has submitted. So yeah, another unreal world-class performance by Emma. So that's basically the female leaderboard. Again, we're kind of a battle between Amanda and Aoife for 2nd and 3rd, and then Emma continuing our dominance at the top. Right, let's take a look at the male leaderboard. See what's going on.
So this is the male for point 4.
Let's
so it's the finishes we had here.
At the bottom, and we'll just call out the scores, and then we can have a little chat about them then.
Yeah. So looking at basically from the points average, starting down where Dean Kelleher is there.
Dean,
shout out to Dean having an absolutely
athlete.
Brilliant opening. So coming down to our gym and training a good few times as well. Just a phenomenal athlete. And then working around the leaderboard in point 4, Dean Kelleher, Rowan Bray, Barry Fitzpatrick, Miles Canning, Ty Lawless, Jamie Heaton, Sam Stewart, Micky Smith, Niall McCarthy, and PD Savage at the top there. Now.
Okay, so we'll start at the bottom.
Yeah.
Dean, great performance, very consistent. He's kind of the uncrowned or the unpodiumed athlete in Ireland. He's been putting it down for years, always very consistent. He's very dedicated to his training. He's an excellent athlete. He travels abroad and all that kind of stuff. And he's always in the mix with them top boys. So a shout out to Dean. Rowan Bray had a great performance there.
Yep.
And if you look, some of the guys are getting better as the weeks go on.
Yeah.
Some guys crumple under the pressure, but you'll see these guys and they start to float closer to the top. They may have had a bad performance like Micky, and then they get closer and closer, and it gets, it starts to even out more basically the more CrossFit it gets, we'll say.
Yeah, more separators in the workouts.
Barry Fitzpatrick, great performance there. A few of the boys again getting stuck on that last bar, 235. Miles Canning, always in the mix. He was down at the IFC a few years ago, did very well. Podium, Tig, unreal performance. He got 2 reps, I believe, on the last bar, if I'm correct. So shout out to Tig, climbing the leaderboard every time. We have Jamie, who finished, phenomenal performance there. 1945. He's an excellent lifter. You know,
Yeah.
if you go to his Instagram, he'll always be throwing around
those
them big
barbells are no
weights.
problem.
I
It's
love
just a
the way
speed
as
thing.
well, when he makes a big lift, he claps for himself at the end. That's classic, absolutely classic,
Why
Jamie
not?
Heaton. So shout out to Jamie again, very consistent across the board. He would have been definitely one of the contenders at the start of this year to say, yeah, he could definitely make it to the games. Micky, back up there, back in the mix. Great to see. He finished it with a 1925, and then we will have a look at Petey's score then 1728. So that's a massive difference between Petey's and we'll say Mickey Smith there, because Petey's such a beast.
Yeah,
it was 2 minutes quicker.
Unbelievable score.
I suppose we may as well talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
There was some, I suppose, revelations that came to light over the last few days. We won't go into details. I think if you're in the CrossFit scene, you probably know all about it already. You've heard some stuff, but I suppose the way we would be thinking about it is there's lessons to be learned for us all. You know what I mean? I know that when I was 23 years of age, I was in rehab, and I definitely wasn't doing the right things, you know what I mean? So we all make these poor decisions when we're young. The trouble with the open is, or not the trouble, one of the things that goes along with the open, and I think Army discussed it, and I'm sure I've heard Micky talk about it as well, and everyone else, that there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with this, especially when you're up on this leaderboard. The fact that there's national champions now as well is more pressure than ever.
Yeah, and there's a social media presence.
There's a social media
like never
presence.
before.
Never before, yeah.
It's all in one. We're such a small country, and then our community is even smaller. CrossFit as a community is already small. Our country's small. It makes that even smaller. So everything just word flies around.
Magnifies it.
Yeah, completely. So the pressure for those athletes at the top 5 athletes in the country, even top 10, is crazy pressure, because they know they're all in contention to do something really great and represent our country. So a lot of pressure comes with that.
Yes.
Obviously, it just makes people do things like that. And
do crazy fucking
happens,
things,
you know?
folks. Again, when you're dealing with a lot of eyes focused on you, and I think if you're that type of person, you can buckle under the pressure. And buckling under the pressure can mean many different things. Some people will perform not up to their standards. Some people lose performance, whatnot. Other people then will do things that they may not necessarily do. You know, they make these poor decisions, and they will end up paying the price for it in the long run.
yeah,
It's an unfortunate thing when you mix competition with ultra competitiveness, and you give people options like the open, right? So say in a live competition, you're up there, you're in front of hundreds of people, you have a judge beside you, so there's a lot of eyes on you. There's not a lot you can do to cheat, we'll say.
There's a lot more variables.
There's not a lot you can do to cheat. You can either do the work or you can't. Simple as that. Now, the open is a completely different story. So we get the workout at 1 a.m. on a Friday morning, and then we have till 1 a.m. on a Monday night to submit the score. So there's this massive window of time that you can do the workouts. And you can basically, if you have access to a gym, you can do them 24 hours a day. You can do them whenever you want, as long as you have a judge there. So it leaves on the table the option for someone to come in, if they have keys to a gym, do whatever they want, get up to all kinds of shenanigans, and the temptation is there. So I think the lesson that we could learn from what we've seen over the last few days, again, we're not going to go into details, I'm sure everyone knows about it by now, but the lesson is that if you have, from a coach's point of view and an owner's point of view, if you have an athlete who is in contention to go somewhere on the leaderboard, like a national spot or get into the Masters or whatever it is, you must supervise that athlete when they're being judged. It has to be done. You can't say, yeah, go in, do whatever you want, whatever, with any judge you want, especially not someone who's close to you. So, yeah, I think from what I've taken from the whole situation is that if you, again, have an athlete who's in contention, then you have to be there. You have to. If you're verifying them scores, and they're important scores, like on a leaderboard like this, then you must take responsibility to make sure the standards are upheld, the reps are done correctly, and then the correct weights are on the bar. That's a very important one.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe the most important one.
It's always good, lads, if it says 142 kilos, to make sure there's 142 kilos on the bar.
Yeah.
You know, that's a super important kind of a thing. So that's the lesson for the coaches and the owners. From an athlete's point of view, the lesson would be, if you're that type of person that is going to buckle extremely, extremely badly, like we've seen, then you're probably better off not competing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Go do something else, go have fun with the workouts, do the workouts, but don't be submitting scores. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just enjoy the process. If it gets into your brain that much that you would need to do something that extreme, then you're probably better off not register.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Shane?
I'd say so. And as like an athlete myself, after competing over the last few years and then into kind of the RX side of things in Ireland too, it's extremely, extremely competitive environment. As I was saying, it's a very closed off.
It's a dog eat dog world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. And like when it gets to the top of CrossFit, we saw at the IFC last year, it's just so competitive and there's a lot of pressure on people. And everyone's pretty friendly when it comes to the floor, and everyone's like, they want you to do well, or they come off like that. But at the end of the day, individuals want to win. That's why we're out there. It's very hard to go out somewhere and thinking I don't want to win.
No, all the fellas up there are mad to win.
Yeah. So just competitiveness itself. Have a passion for it. When it comes to anything like this, even in CrossFit, I think you have to have a passion for it. If you're coaching a class, like members can tell if you're not passionate about something just by listening to you, I think. Anyway, I have heard it firsthand. And when it comes to competing as well, you're not going to do those competitions and these leaderboards and care that much if you're not passionate about it. Sometimes you might just have to do some soul searching yourself and see what happens.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of soul searching done over the next few years.
Again, it's not the end of the world either.
No,
you know
it's
what
not the end of the world. As I said, I was a complete fuck up when I was 23 years of age. I was doing up to all kinds of mischief that would have had me in jail till I was past 30.
Yeah.
You know, youngsters make mistakes. I'm not going to call that a mistake, actually, because it wasn't a mistake. It was quite premeditated. Youngsters make bad decisions. They make bad decisions, but at the end of the day, who hasn't made a bad decision?
And it's not like this hasn't happened in the open before either. You know?
I bet you it's happened in probably hundreds of times.
Yeah, even that last workout with Diane and stuff like that, there was a lot of blurred lines there with putting that tape on the wall, kicking over the line with your heels. Like, I know in here we held a really high standard.
We did. Some people weren't happy about it.
Some people weren't happy about it, and that's fine. You know, that's go do it somewhere else. That's grand. No. But if you can hold that in your gym, even if you're not the affiliate owner or a coach, if you are put in a position to coach or to coach or judge somebody in a workout, especially when there's a leaderboard involved, people are signed up and saying that they're doing something truthfully, I think you should be holding yourself to that standard. And that's what brings us all up as a kind of community in Ireland, you know. And that's why we're so proud of what we do in Ireland here.
Absolutely.
The sports that are growing because of these athletes. And it will
continue to grow, and people will continue to make mistakes, but hopefully we can learn from mistakes. That's why that's the most valuable thing about making these, again, I said mistakes, but bad decisions is we can look at bad decisions and we can say, right, Jimmy over there is after fucking up. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So we can all learn from this as a community and a sport and a national sport and a beloved sport, which we all love, that we can say we can use that as an example. And, you know, again, youths make these poor decisions. I'm sure it's happened hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Louis Simmons used to talk about fellas juice, and he said it's not against the rules to juice, it's against the rules to get caught. And that's mentality for a lot of people, you know what I mean? So I'm sure, fingers crossed, that we can all learn from it and we can all move on, as I said.
For sure.
So these things happen. I think the main thing is not to dwell on it for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I suppose the logistics of something like that happening. So an athlete, again, their scores, I presume, will be nullified once HQ deal with it properly. So what way will that switch things around? So let's go on to the full leaderboard now and take a
if
little
we look at the overall, the leaderboard will jump. Here's the overall men's in Ireland. So what we're realistically looking at is kind of the top 5. Because of the point separation between, if you look at Tig and Ian Golding, obviously both have had great opens, but it's kind of, there's obviously a separation when it comes to PD, Sam, Fowl there, and Jamie Heaton. So taking a score out of consideration there would probably jump maybe Tig closer to Jamie in that leaderboard. I'm sure these boys have done the maths already on this and know what's going to happen, but I think I think PD and Sam would still come down to that last workout like it did anyway. So,
I think what's going to happen is, I think
depending on what scores get pulled as
full
well.
score, I think all the scores are going to get pulled.
Yeah.
Once HQ get a grip of it. I think that's what's going to happen, I think. And realistically, that's what should happen.
Yeah. So
at the end of the day, if that happens with one of the scores, then you have to be honest about things and, think that, okay, if the person is up to whatever, then all the scores should be gone. So that would mean the second to be gone there and the second to be gone there. I think if all the scores disappear, I think the boys will both drop the same amount of points.
Yeah.
So I think there's still going to be 2 points.
There should be, but looking at it now, there should be that.
Between them.
Like,
I think
because there's not much of a jump.
contention,
Yeah, there's not much of a jump
Tig
Jamie can
obviously
make there.
No.
Just because of the scores that went in, because Sam has so many good finishes.
Yeah.
So if Sam had to drop points that last workout, which he didn't over Jamie, because Jamie came 5th and Sam came 4th. And then Petey did so well in that last one. He did 2 minutes
Absolutely
better.
Smashed it.
So that'll keep him on top, I'd say, by at least 2 points, it looks like from now. So we'll see. What we saw last year with the worldwide leaderboard, it was crazy. I think they put in, they had a cutoff line for the worldwide to get to qualify through the games, through the Open. And they had to wait like 2 or 3 weeks just for it all to
settle down.
fall in on stuff. Everyone was waiting for Patrick Vellner to jump over the line. So then if Patrick Vellner jumped over, that means no Olsen will qualify. No Olsen was doing all these sanctions just to jump in.
Yep.
So you never really know with these leaderboards, because there's plenty of stuff like this going on around the world where people aren't making those standards. Even so during the week, there was a guy, he's a really high caliber athlete. I can't remember his name top of my head now. He hasn't been to the games before, I'm sure. He does loads of top level competition, and he disputed a penalty.
Okay.
So he got a 2-minute penalty on that last workout.
Right.
Or maybe it was 0.1 with the snatches. But,
They were dishing out the penalties.
They were dishing out the penalties, like Fraser, loads of top people got them. This guy got one, and it was 2 minutes, so it took him out of contention for the games completely. So I think it threw him down about 100 places. But then he disputed it, and they got a lower to 5 seconds. So
Okay.
so I saw it.
So it's worth disputing. Then, if there is
Definitely worth
penalties.
disputing. If there's something there where you feel like, hang on now,
I don't think he's going to be
No.
disputing what's going on.
probably don't dispute that one. But,
No, that's
you know,
definitely that's indisputable.
But there's plenty of them. Like we saw Emma got a few in the first week. Phenomenal performance, but there was just little things that people at HQ picked out, I think.
Like false start and things like
false
this.
start, picked up the bar too early, not like with the burpees with your feet and all that.
The
That was
burpees thing, right? We never addressed that, but I think CrossFit shot themselves in the foot.
Oh yeah, and they usually
by-
do with stuff like that.
I know.
Yeah.
I think they shot themselves in the foot by allowing the step in.
Yeah.
If you just kept it to the old standard of that you have to, first of all, it was you were allowed to step in. Then they brought it to 2-foot jump in.
Yeah.
Then they brought back the step in. So if they had left it at 2-foot jump in, it would have eliminated the 1-foot takeoff
Yeah,
thing,
for
because
sure.
naturally when you step in with 1 foot, 1 foot is in front of the other. So the only way you can jump then is by the back foot taking off first, and then the front foot taking off.
And your hips facing the opposite way
Yeah,
to the
so
bar.
they brought all that mess upon themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Castro should have just left it at a 2-foot jump in, and then when you jump in with 2 feet, your 2 feet are if they're not planted right beside each other, they're planted almost next to each other.
Yeah.
So when you jump in and do the takeoff, but again, I'm sure they may learn from next year. And
Hopefully
bring it
anyway,
back to that.
because just bring it back to the simplicity, because I think the stepping over the 2 feet, whatever the 2 feet is, should be scaled.
Yeah.
If you want to step over, just do scaled. That should be just the way it is. But
Agreed.
hopefully then they come out with better standards, because there's always one thing that we're
There's always
this year there was a lot more than I ever
It's easy
saw.
for us to sit there and criticise, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. There was a lot more
Do this,
disputes
should do that.
than
There
I've
was.
ever seen.
But that's good as well, because it means the CrossFit are cracking down on things.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good plus for.
And
the
what I
sport
like the
moving
humility,
forward.
like I was saying, that guy that got the penalty disputed and brought back to only 5 seconds. I like the humility from HQ.
Yes,
because in the past it was like, no,
Yeah.
that's what we
They're
said.
not
is what we
afraid
said.
to admit they can make mistakes. As
Yeah,
well.
so I like the part where it's like, no, you know what? We'll go back and review it, and then we'll see. And then they did bring it back. So that's
Awesome.
a good talk.
All right, so that's a wrap up of the Irish leaderboard as it stands at the moment. After the break, we're going to have our national champion on, IFC champ 2019, the legend Micky Smith, and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. So this week's guest we have on Micky Smith, again our national champion, IFC 2019 champion, and the 26th fittest man in the world. Micky, how are you, brother? How's things?
All good, boys. How's it keeping?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. You're looking like you're having some good weather up there.
Yeah.
Two skies up here in Bestbrook today, up in Uri.
Yeah, looks good up there. How's things with you, man? How's things going so far?
Not too bad. Busy morning there. I'm up from 6 in the gym, so a few PTs over and done with, and then
Excellent.
having a wee look at this 20.5 now to see
Yes.
what the crack is.
Well, do you like it?
It looks like a good one for me now, if to be honest. Yeah. I will see what the crack is, whether I tackle it today or maybe leave it to tomorrow. We'll see how it's been a tough training, so we'll see.
Okay. So, Micky, you went to the games obviously this year. Congratulations on that. We're all very proud to have you as our national champion. And not only did you go, but you performed very well as well. Could you give us a little rundown on how things went for you over there and your experience in general of the games?
Yeah, boys. Obviously, it's a great experience. Being able to represent the country, walking out onto the field with the Ireland flag was probably as close as it gets to being at the Olympics. So it was amazing. It's been 4 to 5 years of hard work trying to get there since starting CrossFit, and eventually it came into reality this year. So an amazing experience and one I won't forget.
Excellent. And you were, you performed in so good that you actually made it to 26th, which was fantastic. So you bypassed a lot of the cuts. You made it past the cuts. Could you give us your opinion on them and what did you thought happened, and what would you like to see it done the same way in 2021 or 2020 rather?
The cuts obviously was new for everyone, and luckily enough, a couple of good workouts fell my way early on in the competition. I definitely would. I would say it's a good way to go about it. Maybe, would have liked maybe another day or so at it. So before the cuts, I think it was a wee bit tight there towards the end, cutting it down to 10 even on the Saturday. So something. If I get back again next year, I would want to be making that top 10 if possible.
I had no doubt about it, man. If there's anyone that can do it, it's definitely you. Did you get to meet Castro and Glassman and any of the rest of them?
Yeah, Castro and Glassman were there at the athlete dinner at the start of the day before competition. So Glassman's a bit of he's a bit of a funny character, all right. And Castro, he'd be a hard man to get hold of, but just passing by more so. And then obviously met a lot of the big athletes that we've watched for years on Netflix
Brilliant.
and YouTube. So it's great to actually meet them guys in person as well.
Yeah, man, that must have been an amazing experience to not only see them there and all that, but to be on the same floor as them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To think that, as you said, we've all spent years watching them online, watching their videos, watching their games, performances. What did it feel like to be actually standing next to them? And were you fanboying out or anything like that, or did you have any aux moments with him?
Yeah, well, going into the first workout, you're in the warm-up area and you're thinking to yourself, like, these are the big dogs here that we're going against. You don't count yourself nearly as one of them at the start. You're sort of more so just saying, I'll do what I can do here. But after the first workout, you soon sort of realise you can dance with these boys, no problem.
Absolutely.
If you go for it, put
and
your mind
dance
to
you
it.
did, and dance you
after
did.
the first workout, well settled.
You really didn't look out of place at all in that first one.
That was.
Snatches,
I had goosebumps, man, watching you on the first one.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You really. Where did you place again, Mick, on the first workout?
First workout, I think it was about 24th.
That's phenomenal.
In my heat, which was the middle heat, I think only Fikowski, Will Murad, I think that was it, finished in front of me. Maybe one other guy, James Newbury, finished in front of me, but I was fourth in that heat, so it was definitely a big lift for me, being one of the first men onto that last bar.
Excellent, excellent, absolutely phenomenal. So you enjoyed it as an overall experience, and you're looking forward to getting back there again.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. Obviously,
absolutely.
The Open hasn't gone just as well now, so
no, and we're just about to lead into that now at the moment.
Okay.
20.1. What happened, brother? What happened? We're all interested.
It's hard to know, you know. I should have done a lot better than what I did, you know. Finishing where it was like 49th, 50th in the Irish leaderboard. You know, there's nothing wrong, but at the same time, coming off the back of the games, obviously you'd be expecting a top 5 finish in nearly every workout. But you know, the games took a lot out of me, and you know, you were training so hard to get there. Obviously, them guys are used to that volume all year round, where I was peaking right for the Open.
Yeah.
Probably didn't take as much time off as I should have leading up to the Open, instead of going back in. So I didn't feel 100% going into the Open. But that first workout just got inside my head. I went 0 to 100 in the first 5 rounds on the attempt 1 and completely blew up. And then after that, the workout just got in my head, and I just couldn't get my head around it in attempt 2 and attempt 3.
3 attempts you had?
Yeah.
I had 3 attempts, I'll be honest, I don't mind saying.
Yeah. No, man.
You know, it is what it is. These things happen. So 3 attempts and only could get those 12:30 or 12:29 or something. I don't remember.
Still a great score, but I'm sure, as you said, you're a wee bit disappointed with not getting maybe a top 5 or close to even top 10 on it.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, Tom.
I said still a great score.
Could you say that again?
Still a great score, but as you said, you were a wee bit disappointed on not getting the performance you had hoped for on it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's kind of like what happened to Sam Stewart last year.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
A big knock like that in the first workout puts you out of contention for the rest of it, you know, so you don't feel like you're going to give 100% then in the rest of the workouts, you know.
We actually discussed that. We were discussing, it was an almost identical situation to what happened to Sam last year. You know, you didn't perform as well as you wanted on that first workout. How did you feel then after that, knowing that you had another 4 weeks of this going ahead, and that you had to tackle another 4 workouts? It must have been a little bit disheartening, was it? And you know, that you couldn't put your full effort in.
Definitely, you know, like just even if you look at the leaderboard from last year, like qualifying for the games, I was on 15 points after 5 workouts, and I was already on 49 points after the first workout. So you were never going to be able to come back from it, you know. So you just have to get on and do them and enjoy them with your gym members and the people in your gym, and just have fun with it then, you know, rather than taking it too serious.
Yes, I would imagine that there had to be a shift in attitude from, okay, I'm in contention to go into the games, that okay, I might not make it this year, but I'm still going to put in an effort and try and enjoy the process as much as possible, you know. But as myself, Shane talked about, you didn't make any excuses. Like a true champ, you handled it and you got on with things, and you know, we wouldn't expect that less from a caliber of athlete like yourself. But so we can realistically say that the games, maybe, even though you're in the top 10 now, I believe, or you're in 10th place at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I think that
going into the last week. So
that would
the main plan is just to get this last workout done, and then obviously go hard at the Filthy 150 and try and get my spot there.
Yes.
A lot of them top guys will probably get their national champion spot or the top 20 in the world. I definitely think the Filthy 150 is up for grabs if you go for it.
Yeah. I absolutely think so. I think, like you said, a lot of them big names will be pre-qualified either through the Open or maybe as a national champion. So I would reckon that you have a good shot at getting there. What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, and there's like there's a lot of room now in the space for the backfill process that we're seeing. So guys who are going through the open and the qualifying spots there and national champions means that if you go to these, like the Filthy it's a huge sanctioner. So it has all these games athletes. So if you can place well among those, someone like Micky definitely could. It looks like there could be a backfill or even to win it, then you can go straight to the games from there. So opportunities there. I'm sure, Micky, you kind of went straight in and made a plan yourself after that first workout. I was like, oh no, this is my plan now to straight into a sanctional, yeah.
That's it, and at the end of the day, I know I qualified last year through the Open, but I much prefer a competition scenario than an open scenario. So, like, compared to like the likes of the Irish Fitness Championships and any competition like the Open, CrossFit Games, I do perform a lot better, I think, on the field than I do in the gym,
Yes,
yeah,
well,
sure.
I think you see that a lot. You see athletes that are open athletes. I don't like to call them out open athletes because obviously they're good athletes anyway. But when they go to competitions, they tend to perform not as well. And then the opposite is true. They may not be world beaters in the open, but like yourself, then you drop you into a live competition and you can beat, practically anyone in the world, in my opinion.
But that's it. Like, I'll not boast about it, but I did beat Fraser in that sled push workout.
Yeah,
so.
there you go, boy. Hey, that's one to take to tell the grandchildren. You know what I mean? I beat Matt Fraser in the workouts. Absolutely.
I think Micky was one of the few not to push the sled straight into the floor. They all kind of seemed to push the sled straight into the ground, and then they couldn't get off to a start.
Was there like a knack to that? I remember Neil Maddox in one of the games workouts, I believe it was maybe in 15 or 16.
He got right over the
He
sled.
almost lifted it. He not lifted it, but he put a little bit of different pressure on it.
Yeah,
Was it the same case?
Yeah, if you're pushing sleds in your gym often, you'll know, the lighter sleds, you can't go near the top of them, and it just seems a lot of the boys went for the top of the handles.
Yes.
Which is just a rookie error, really.
Yeah. And you being the rookie, you didn't make that error.
Yeah, exactly.
So have you any other
in this gym anyway? So
yes, absolutely, man. What's the plan for 2020, Mick? I know we had Army on last week. He said you're going to be doing strength in depth as a team. Had you any other plans then after that, or tell me a little bit about strength in depth and what you hope to achieve at that competition?
Yeah, well, I suppose a sanctional season, you just have to take it as it comes, really. So first things first is Filthy 150. I'll be trying for my individual spot. If that doesn't work out, then I've got strength and depth in January. I'm going to take a few weeks off after Filthy just to get my head right again. Strength and depth, hopefully big strong team with Emma and Army and Jane from JST. So we should definitely make a good point. If that doesn't work out, I've got possibly Wadapalooza lined up as part of the team as well, and if not, then I'm going to look at sanctionals around the April-May time to give me plenty of time.
Excellent.
Yeah,
so it sounds like yourself and Neil Laverty have put together a good plan going into the 2020 season. We were discussing last week, so there's a team with you, Army, Emma, and what's the other girl's name, sorry?
It's Jane. She was on the JST team at the games last.
Do ye have, will she be going back to the games, do you think, on the JST team? Is that her plan? Or could you, say if ye won strength and depth, and Army obviously is going to go for his country and Emma will go for Ireland, could ye put into alternates
That's
as
right.
them?
Yeah. As far as I know, you can enter anyone that's, registered for the Open and whatnot. So as far as I know, you could have anyone, like, for example, if Sam Stewart or PD didn't make, so one of them boys could potentially go on a team, or maybe, one of the JST guys, no problem.
Yeah, that would be. So you have plenty of options there, hopefully, going into the 2020 season. If we don't see as an individual, which I'm sure there's a great chance of you doing, there's always a possibility of a team as well.
Fingers crossed, definitely.
Brilliant, absolutely, man. We'll be all rooting for you anyway.
Could see an Irish team at the games too.
Absolutely. So, Mick, I know that you have a very successful online programming system now as well. Could you give us a little insight into that? I'm seeing some of the people putting up their videos and whatnot, and it looks like you're building a good little crew. I like the way you go very in depth into the program, and you're putting up some of the pictures of you going through the program and whatnot. Give us a little rundown on EST Evolve.
Yeah, well, basically, we've been running it now for roughly 6 months. A few of our members actually give us the idea that we're struggling to get onto a program that was individual and a bit more personal. So to start to develop our own program for them, and that way we could work on their specific weaknesses. So it's good just to have something local like that the guys can use. And then it sort of branched out from that. A couple of more athletes from down south came on board with us. So we're up to about 16, 17 athletes at the minute. Some of them are doing the individualized programming, where we are programming basically periodized towards their weaknesses. Some people have decided just to jump on a generic strength program 3 days a week on top of their classes. So there's definitely good options, and the boys are getting good results over the past 6 months. And we're definitely open to a few more slots, but you want to obviously don't want to take on too much work that you can't handle.
Yes, absolutely. Quality is more important than quantity, especially when you're dealing with people's hopes and dreams of competition and whatnot. And your gym also seems to be very successful. I see you're doing some renovations up there at the moment. You have more machines than I can count. I'm a bit jealous. Yeah, it looks like you have about 100 of everything up there. So well done. Could you give us a little rundown on the new extension in the gym and what's going on for EST at the moment?
Yeah, well, that's it. We're open about 2.5 years now, Tom, and we've definitely been coming from strength to strength. We started off out with one small 2,500 square foot unit, and within a year we took on it the same size again. And the classes are just getting that busy in the evening. You know what it's self, guys trying to do their own training, guys doing classes, the cardio classes going on. So we decided we'd take on another small section. Luckily enough, we have it. And it's just, yourself, it's a lot of work you have to put in.
Yes, it is, man. It is.
Finding the balance, isn't it?
Well, fair play to you, Mick. I wish you continued success with that. I'm delighted to see it. It's always great to see up-and-coming gyms. And obviously, from an athlete like yourself, you have a lot to pass on to all your members. So they're lucky to have you up there, my friend. So the next portion of today's workout, we put up, or today's interview rather, workout. We put up on Instagram a few questions for the general public to write in and ask. So we picked a few of them, and Shane is going to read them out. Not too controversial, yeah. So we'll see what you say.
I won't believe that, Mickey. These questions are getting a reputation now on this podcast.
No problem. Work away, boys.
So start off with the first one. Is just, what's your favourite workout you've ever done in a competition?
Favourite workout ever done in the competition? It's hard to beat that Macho Man used boys through at us there.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
In the Irish
Hey, good man.
I was a big fan of that.
Yes, yeah. You done well. You fucking smashed that.
Touch
boy.
and go on every bar. Yeah, I saw that. That was a great workout. Good program.
Yeah, that would be
from
probably my best local competition workout. At the games, I would definitely say the first workout at the games with run, rope climb, and snatch. Once I seen that, I was licking my lips for that one.
That's it with you, yeah.
Beating Fraser had to be one of your favourites as well. The sled and the bar muscle up one.
Yeah, that was good. It was a very short workout, so just pure burn. I can't say I loved it now.
Short and sweet.
Short
and sweet. Right, next question, Shane.
Second one then is, who asked these questions? Who do you love more, Mickey, your dog or your girlfriend?
Boys, now you're putting me in the spot there.
Don't worry, the dog.
Jenny's number one now. She knows that.
The dog won't have YouTube, so it won't be able to listen.
Dog, yeah. But he's definitely up there now.
He's good. That's good. It's good to have it that way.
Mickey, what's your opinion on cheating in the open?
Say it again, sorry.
What's your opinion on cheating in the open?
Cheating in the open. I talked a wee bit about this before the open started this year, and now that the prize for the coming first in the open is so big, it's only going to get more and more common that people are going to be doing silly things to try and get a spot, to go to the game. So I think there should be a local event or a local location that the top athletes to go to do the workouts head to head against each other. That way, it just rules out the chances of any cheating or any messing around, because it's not fair on the athletes. They're obviously working very hard, you know.
Yes, we were. I was talking to a group of people last night about this, and I think you're right. I think some kind of a national competition where they do the workouts, you know what I mean, the open workouts, but it has to be in front of like registered judges and all that kind of stuff. So we know that because it is such an important thing to go to the games, then there's a lot riding on it. A lot of you guys base your whole year around it. So to be put in the hands of someone who the athlete decides is a good judge, I don't think it's really fair. You know, it should be someone.
Definitely agree with that.
Someone that's impartial and that doesn't have any ties to the athlete, and then at least and as you said, somewhere that people can see it. People can see it, and I think video on everyone's workouts as well would be a good thing. You know what I mean? If everyone had to put up a video like Tig is doing now, then would we be able to see, you know, who's performing? Are they doing the reps correctly? Are they using the correct weights? That's a big thing as well, and obviously all the rest of the stuff that goes along with that.
Absolutely, yeah. Fair play to Tag. I would have been happy enough to do that myself this year. You know, it's something that we should all be doing. You know, at the top end of things.
Yes. Next question, Mick. How many pints of Guinness do you drink a week?
Oh no, that's a hard question, boys. I'm not too good at maths. Obviously, you know, me and Jenny got engaged there at the games, and it's been there's been plenty of outings since coming home from the games. That's obviously been you know, a big part to play on the first maybe few open scores. But I do enjoy a night Guinness, boys. But I was saying to Emma yesterday, you know, there's a big difference there. Her, you know, in terms of training volume and whatnot, but I definitely, she said as well, like at the top end, you know, you really do have to dial the drink down if you wanna be successful. So maybe I'm gonna put a back shelf on it.
You're a man after my own heart, buddy. There's nothing wrong with an old pint of Guinness every now and then.
Unless you get a sponsorship, you might get a sponsorship in the future.
I think you should start tagging the IG Guinness page, and you might even get a sponsorship.
I know, boys. That'd be the dream come true there.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah,
you can have a tap in the gym and everything. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you wouldn't need to do any personal training or coaching like that anymore. You'd be getting paid by Guinness to be a professional Guinness athlete.
I'd be happy enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mick, is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to now before we wrap it up? I know you're being coached by Neil Laverty up in 80-20 there, and I'm sure there's another couple of people you want to thank for you know, help and support you get to the games and whatnot, and anyone else you want to give a shout to, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely give a shout out to Emmett here in the gym, my business partner, looking after me and looking after the gym during the games, or the build up of the games, so take the stress off my back. Jenny and all for helping me out, and my coach Neil Laverty still looking after me at the minute and getting me ready for this season. Like to thank Wade and Ollie Clothing and all for sponsoring me for the games as well. I haven't got a chance to thank them boys since coming home, so big thanks to them boys as well.
Brilliant. Mick, you're an absolute gent. It was a pleasure talking to you. We wish you all the best. We'll be rooting for you over the coming season, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Shane, do you want to say goodbye to Mick there?
All right, Mick, thanks very much, man. See you again.
No bother, boys. Thanks a million. All the best.
All right, same to you, brother. Take it easy.
Take it easy. Bye.
And that's a wrap for episode 5 of the Irish Fitness Podcast. Next week, we'll be wrapping it all up. We have the kingpin of Irish CrossFit, Mr. Alan Barnell, coming on the show. It's always good when you get a chat to Barnell.
Yeah,
we get his
a lot of experience on
absolutely.
On
One of the OGs of CrossFit. A friend of mine for a good few years now. He met him first in 2012, I believe. He was one of the first athletes to compete at the Irish Fitness Championships / the Stadium Throwdown. So it's going to be a good crack next week, folks. Tune in. We'll have Alan on with the wrap-up show. We can discuss everything that happened over the last 5 weeks, the 5 workouts, and anything else that Barnell wants to throw in there as well. We'll have a shout about it. All right, tune in next week, folks.